Twinkle, twinkle, red Zoro. I want to play red Zoro.
Car D Kaizoku.
Oh, it's just my Patreon I just launched. If you like what I do and want to support me, toss a few bucks my way. Link in the description and on screen until someone subscribes to the tier and changes it. Okay, onto the video. Bandai says the same restricted list will stay for OP04, so now that we have that confirmation, we can finally start brewing with Zoro. I've been waiting for this. Sorry for any new subscribers that joined us during OP04, but I'm secretly a Zoro main since OP01 actually. It's not hidden information, it's pretty public. But that also means I have a lot more to say about the deck than normal, so hope you enjoy a more insightful deck breakdown. So without access to 4 cost blocker Marco and 4 radical beam, I think we ditched the mid-range style of play completely. Gordon plus 5 cost Marco was an amazing tempo combo in OP03, but the meta shift has lessened the value of this style of play. Katakuri no longer runs Cracker or Rush Katakuri in favor of big vanillas like Randolph and Perospero. Queen isn't bothered by the combo at all since they run mostly late game cards. Kairos is able to evade the KO. Green Purple Doflamingo is packed with defense. Crocodile can easily remove 5 cost Marco and prevent him from reviving. So the meta looks like it's trying to slow down. Because of this, I think it's the perfect time to return to a more aggressive Zoro list to take advantage of the meta shift. People have started cruising on autopilot in the early game until they can start using their brains for the late game, but we're here to remind them that the game actually starts from turn 1, not turn 4. Let's take a look at the leader. Roronoa Zoro is a monocolor red leader with 5k power and 5 starting life. His leader ability reads, Dawn times 1. On your turn, all your characters gain plus 1000 power. It's a simple leader ability and it's been strong for 3 sets now. This leader ability promotes a wider style of play over a tall one. Let's take a look at the deck. Starting by cost we have 4 OP01 Otama. No surprise here, still one of the best red 2k counters in the game. She can give minus 2k on play or counter for 2k. 4 OP01 Nami. Bye bye Whitebeard package, hello Straw Hats. We run Nami as our searcher now. 4 OP03 Buggy. He can search for a red event card on play. We don't run enough events to make this as consistent as in a mid-range Zoro deck, but he's still a 1 cost 3k at the end of the day, so we don't always have to hit our searches with Buggy. It's more of a cherry on top sort of thing in this deck. 4 Promo Sunny-kun. Just a vanilla 1 cost 3k. If he's hard to get since he's a promo card, OP04 Sanji is basically a functional reprint, at common rarity even. 4 OP02 Magra. We aggro boys. Magra gives any red 1 cost plus 3k on play. This turns all of our small characters into scary attackers. With leader ability active, Magra turns Buggy and Sunny into 7k attackers. For 1 extra Dawn, Nami or another Magra can also become a 7k attacker as well. 4 OP02 Makino. Pretty much 4 extra copies of Magra. She has to rest herself to do it though, but she then becomes a pseudo blocker in most cases. When your opponent doesn't have any searchers or weenies on board of their own, she'll usually eat a full-on leader attack. And she's also a 2k counter, by the way. 4 OP02 Curly the Dawn. Our third searcher for the deck, Curly can search for any red 1 cost character. With 24 targets, this will pretty much never whiff. Being at 3k power means you only need 1 Dawn on her, attached with your leader ability active to swing at 5k. 4 OP01 Sanji. This card is for the Rebecca and Nami matchups. These decks like to starve you of resources by not giving you cards from life. Sanji lets you take a card from life to hand and buff himself. You'll want to play him out ASAP and use his leader ability as often as possible. Dawn on leader and 2 rested Dawn makes Sanji an 8k swing. Against every other type of matchup though, he's still a searchable 2k counter, so it's pretty much a no-brainer to run him. 4 OP01 Roronoa Zoro. Aggro Zoro means we run Rush Zoro again. Having the stat efficiency of a vanilla on top of being able to attack the turn you play him gives him a lot of flexibility on how you want to use him. In the early game, you may just want to play him out and not swing. In the late game, he can be an extra attacker that your opponent did not account for. 4 Starter Deck 1 Monkey D. Luffy. One of the key cards of this meta. Between Law, Queen, Rebecca, Crocodile, and Green Purple Doflamingo, and even Whitebeard actually, a lot of decks now run a shit ton of blockers. Luffy has Rush and can become unblockable with 2 attached Dawn. This is pretty much necessary to close out games against these type of decks. For our events we run 1 OP01 Radical Beam. This is the best that we can get with the restricted list active. It counters for 4k for 1 Dawn when we're at 2 or less life. 4 Starter Deck 1 Guard Point. Our next best defensive option. It counters for 3k for 1 Dawn, which is still Dawn efficient. 1 Starter Deck 1 Diable Jam. For the same reason we run Starter Deck Luffy, Diable Jam lets us swing for 14k unblockable with our leader. Since we can search it via Nami and Buggy, 1 copy seems like it's enough, but I can see the case for running 2. 4. Starter deck 1 Gum Gum Jet Pistol. Jet Pistol can KO a 6k power character. The debate here is whether we run Jet Pistol or Fire Fist. Jet Pistol makes a lot more sense for this deck though. We run Nami over Izo, so Jet Pistol being a Straw Hat card is relevant. We run only 10 events, which makes it hard to pay for Fire Fist's extra cost of having to discard another event card to play it. Jet Pistol can reach just a little higher than Fire Fist can as well. We run Jet Pistol just to delay enemy board development. Against every non-aggro deck, they'll most likely only be able to play 1 character a turn early on. This lets you get rid of a character while fitting in more cheap bodies with the Spiridon you have. Then when you're ready to attack, your opponent won't have the number of bodies ready to clear all of your attackers afterwards, allowing you to get an attack off with the surviving weenies the turn after. It can be somewhat of a dead card in the mirror though, but that's when you hope to get it via trigger. For starting hands, you'll want Nami, Buggy, and Curly Dadan. These 3 searchers keep your hand full and help you find cards to adapt to any matchup. Against Rebecca and Nami, you'll also want to find a Sanji as well. The strengths of the deck are incredible offense. Swinging for the magic 7k number sometimes only takes 2 or 3 extra Dawn to pull off with this deck. Consistency. With 12 searchers with overlapping targets, it's hard to whiff searches. Finishing power. With rush and unblockable effects, the abundance of blockers in the current meta can be played around. The weaknesses of the deck are requires strong fundamentals. Contrary to popular belief, this is not a mindless deck that you just always go sideways with. Knowing when to start attacking and when to pass so your opponent can only swing at your life is critical in playing this deck. This is what separates good Zoros from bad Zoros. If you lose to a bad Zoro and still complain about the deck, it may be time to face the cold hard truth and maybe look at yourself in the mirror. Blue Doflamingo Curse. Blue Doflamingo's entire existence depends on Zoro. Doflamingo is only a strong deck in metas where Zoro is the top deck. He can keep up with the number of bodies that Zoro plays out while keeping cards in hand for counter. So this is the Zoro deck I'll be using at the beginning of OP04. Since I consider Zoro to be like my main deck, I'll most likely make more changes as the meta progresses. As always, these lists are just meant to be a quick start general guide for you to make your own list with. So add in tech to your local metagame as you see fit. Zoro might actually be a slept on leader this set due to everyone wanting to try out all the new toys in yellow and blue. But I'm sure we'll still see him placed in tournaments. This may be the last set Zoro is strong in, judging from how OP05 is looking in Asia. So I'm going to get in all the playtime I can get with them. Okay, bye.
Car D Kaizoku.